And we're live. And we're back. Obviously, Fight Talk episode 39. And we have a new co-host, Roxy. So we're not live from the Whiskey Fair, as you can see. I didn't get a makeover. We're live from my living room. Me and Carl are going, not solo, we're going doubles this time. But we have a great show for you, and we're going old school. We have notes on paper this time because we can't use a PC. So what we're going to talk about today, of course, is the Conor McGregor 150k ban, although that might not be true. That could be different now. BAMMA and Bellator collab. We'll talk about that, but we'll also talk about Ronda Rousey versus Amanda Nunes, which has just been announced not too long ago. And there's some people saying that she doesn't deserve it. She does deserve it. I think I know what you're thinking. But we're going to talk about some other stuff as well. We have loads. Today's going to be a weird show. We're going to just talk about everything. And we don't know how long we're going to go for. We're going to go for a while. So first thing up, Conor McGregor. He's banned. He's not banned, but he got a fine of 150k by the Nevada State Athletic Commission for his part in the Bottletron incident.
Bottlegate.
Bottlegate, yeah. UFC Bottlegate.
Yeah.
Thoughts on that?
Cash grab.
Yeah. By Nevada.
Yeah, forced thought. I suppose when you look at it though, you know, devil's advocate first. If you look at Jones Cormier, they were fined, I believe, 10% of their purse.
Yeah.
Conor was fined, what we were told was 5%, and it's 150k. And now we're being told that it's only 2.5% because technically he has to do an informative ad and or
like a
broadcast,
PSA, isn't it?
Yeah, I think it's against bullying or something like that to the value of 75 grand. So technically he's only been fined 75 grand, but it's 5% of his purse. But Cormier and Jones were fined 10%.
Yeah.
So they were fined more, but they weren't making as much money as Conor.
That's true. Yeah.
So it's slightly different, but leniency in the percentage anyway. If you want to give them one out.
Yeah. But the percentage thing is kind of weird because, you know, if you're working with percentages, it's just a difficult one to say because...
Well, if they had a fined Conor 10% the same as those, which that was the precedent,
like
that was a brawl, that would have
true,
been 300
But like,
grand.
where are they picking these values from? Like, why are they saying 10%? It's just, do you know what I mean? It's not like, they don't have a set amount. They're saying though, like, where does that money go to? They're saying it's going to the state itself for whatever things. But like, it seems like an awful lot of money. Even 75k seems like an awful lot of money.
It's a shitload of money.
It's a shitload of money. Now, if that's true, like you're being told that it's 150 by somebody, being told it's 75 by another, but still, it's a hell of a lot of money. Like, they should be, something should have happened because you can't do that. But it seems like a lot of money. Like, you don't know what happened with Nate. I don't think his has come out. I'm not sure if they released that.
Press is hearing is next month.
It's next month.
Yeah.
But if he gets fined that much, like, that's a lot of money to Nate. Even though he made it like loads of money
last time.
$2 million purse. So, you know, if it's 5% of that, it's still a hell of a lot of money. So I don't know. Just to me, it seems excessive because they should be fined something or something should be done. But it seems like just pulling numbers out of nowhere and just finding them whatever they want.
Yeah, like, did you watch last week's MMA or last Monday?
No.
Obviously with Ariel. He had Peter Carroll of Severe MMA on.
Yeah.
And as he was talking to Peter, the whole NSAC hearing was going on. So
live.
He was paying attention to it as it was going on. And Ariel was talking, like, as he was talking to Pete, he stopped Peter talking and he goes, they're actually talking about finding Conor $300,000 here.
I've seen that, yeah.
Like,
I know
that's ridiculous. And you could see how pissed off Ariel was.
Yeah.
You know, like, not even that he's pissed off, but, you know, pretty much sick of your shit type thing.
Yeah.
I definitely think there's a real mindset of they're making the rules as they go along.
Yeah.
For sure. Maybe you could argue 150k is fair. Personally, I don't think it is when you look at the fact that other fighters didn't get fined that much.
Yeah.
Like, they've shot themselves in the foot again here because their overreaction to Nick Diaz, that put a sour taste in everybody's mouth. For people that don't know,
big time.
Nick Diaz was handed a 5-year suspension from mixed martial arts and a cash fine for his third strike for marijuana weed.
And they couldn't really prove that he did take
Yeah.
a win time frame. It's
Exactly.
not scientifically possible.
Yeah, they also used, instead of using USADA approved tests, they used another test that's completely inaccurate.
Yeah.
Which, you know, that's just
Just,
fucking
yeah.
silly. So that has really put a sour taste in people's mouths with the Nevada Athletic Commission, you know. So the fact that this has happened now with Conor, and like Conor fighting in Vegas, how much money he's made for the state,
Yeah.
and then they want to go and fine him 150k.
Yeah, it seems kind of silly now after the fact, because Conor came out and said that he doesn't need Vegas, which is funny because
he's called their bluff.
Yeah, he really doesn't.
Yeah.
There's not many fighters out there that could say that,
Yeah.
because, you know, Vegas is where the UFC have their home. Essentially, that's their home state. That's where they hold most of their biggest shows.
Yeah.
You know, very rarely would a huge show be held outside. But now that they're in New York,
Exactly.
you know, I'm sure Conor would be happy to fight in New York.
Yeah.
You know, now that we're hearing that the time zone thing, it's going to be a bit weird. Like, we were hoping that because it's in New York, it'd be a little bit earlier, but they're pushing to Vegas time.
Yeah.
Hopefully that changes in the future for, you know, people over this side of the pond.
Yeah.
But, yeah, like, it seems like a silly move by Vegas now if Conor does say, okay, I'm not fighting in Vegas anymore.
Yeah, well, obviously, did you watch Fighter and the Kid?
No.
There before this all came out. Brendan Schaub, a lot, you know, when it comes to Brendan, I take everything he says with a pinch of salt.
Yeah.
But he basically offered up his 2 cents in the whole situation after it happened. And he this was before Conor came out and called their bluff. And Brendan Schaub was the first person to say, if I'm Conor McGregor, I'm calling their bluff.
Yeah.
And he said basically everything you're saying. He doesn't need Nevada. Nevada needs him. But he had a very good point on the PSA announcement. He said, how can Nevada pretty much get somebody to make an ad like that? Because Conor is an international superstar. He has a fee for recording anything. Yeah. If you want to put him on the camera, you better pay up, pretty much is what Schaub said.
The only reason he's not on this podcast, he'd love to come on, but we just, you know, we don't have the money yet.
Unfortunately, you know, 100 quid's a bit too steep, Conor. But the fucking, that's what Schaub said. So Schaub said, if I'm recording that, if I'm Conor, I'm going in and slap my contract down the table, say, yeah, take your 75k, but by the way, you owe me 250 grand. Because that's my price, you know.
I think it's kind of ironic as well. Like, they're the ones that are kind of ruling what the punishment should be, if you want to call it that. But it seems like they're bullying him into making an ad about bullying in a way, which is kind of ironic.
Fucking, like, it's just fucking stupid.
Kind of weird, but
it's stupid. The one thing as well that you have to keep in mind is we're saying that Conor doesn't need Nevada. He doesn't. And it's all well for Conor to go and fight in New York. And people are saying, like, well, that could put the 205 main event in jeopardy. It's not going to put it in jeopardy, simply because Conor is such a big draw that New York's Athletic Commission stand to make so much money out of that fight. Yeah. And also, the New York Athletic Commission actually take a higher percentage of fighter purse in taxes than Nevada do.
Oh, do you?
A much higher percentage. So it's all right to fight in New York. I can't remember who it was. I don't know if it was Mark Raymundi or Derek Doyle of MMAfighting.com. Dave Doyle, sorry, of MMAfighting.com. One of those said, like, you know, well, it's all well and good for Conor. If you're a smaller fighter on the card and you're only being paid so much, maybe the whole steroid image of fighting in Madison Square Garden could be lost on you, simply because they take so much more money out of your purse in taxes. Just because their tax rate is higher in New York than Nevada. So it's grand for Conor, because Conor's just going to make truckloads of money anyway. But
yeah, that's a very good point.
Yeah, so he's grand going to New York, and that's why the 205 main event won't be cancelled, because they stand to make so much money out of it.
Yeah.
If the New York Athletic Commission say, no, we're making a stand here with Nevada, and we're going to uphold the ruling that unless you pay the money, you're not going to fight in Nevada again, and we're going to do the same here. They won't do that, because, as I said, they stand to make too much money out of it. If they done that, they'd be shooting themselves in the foot.
Yeah. Usually, commissions go with Nevada. That's the only thing that you could say. Like usually when Nevada make a ruling, they will kind of abide by that, but it could get to that as well. It is interesting about the tax thing though, because I know a lot of fighters like to fight in Vegas because they have a lower tax than a lot of other places. So
Conor is making so much
money.
Yeah,
it's different with him.
Exactly.
It's a completely different story. Like he's playing a different game, really, to be fair. Like him or don't like him. He's playing a different game than a lot of other fighters.
In terms of horses, he's on a different level.
Yeah.
Nobody, unless you're his opponent, you're not making that much money.
Yeah.
That's it. Like
But we'll talk a little bit about the 205 card, because there's a couple of things that come out since we last recorded the show about the 205 card. One of the things is that it's going to be a 4-hour main card rather than a 3-hour main card. I'm assuming that's because it's 3 title fights. You know, 5 rounds. You know, the potential for that.
For sure.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
he went to Brendan's shop. Yeah. So thoughts on that? That's going to be a long night. Like if they start the main card at UK Irish time, we'll be going on 3 o'clock. You're looking at a 7 a.m. finish.
Just get the next day off. Stop being a bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Come here. How long have we been watching mixed martial arts?
Yeah.
We bitched and moaned about it being in the UK and, you know, saying like, oh, it's on too late over there. But that's because we're fucking here and we're on British Standard Time.
Yeah.
It's different when it's in America.
Yeah.
Over in the States, across the pond. But it's very different. Like, I love the fact it brings me back to being fucking 12, staying up to watch Blade.
Yeah, there is a thing about that. Yeah,
you know,
I can agree with that.
I love that fact. Now I come home from work, get myself a nice bottle of wine, possibly some whiskey, maybe a few cans, depends on how scanger I'm feeling. And
what's the level?
What's the
so cans?
Cans is like lowest
lowest.
and low, you know. But then within that lowest and low, you have Dutch Gold, Tennant's, Carlin. And then of course you go up to the good stuff. Then you know, you could move on to Guinness cans, but you don't watch yourself. You know, you'd be having bleeding shits as dark as Sadio Mane. So that was a good one.
Yeah. And you have the cheapo one.
And then, exactly, cheapo one. Which I'm drinking at the minute now, courtesy of Dennis O'Brien with a staff discount. But yeah. I just went on a tangent. I don't mind staying up too late for other people moaning about, oh fuck, it's a 4-hour main card. Come here, if you're the UFC, it makes sense. There's so many good fights on that card. You may as well squeeze, because there will be people that will just watch the free prelims if they can, and they won't buy the main card. But if you put some of the better fights on the main card, which they have 3 title fights, exactly, then you're gonna fucking buy it. Especially Madison Square Garden. Some of the best fighters on the planet are on that card. They were, in my opinion, they're completely right from a business sense to make a 4-hour main card. I'm not complaining. I don't mind. I'm buying it either way. Yeah. I really couldn't give a shit. Yeah. If you're not an MMA fan and you're saying, oh, why would you do that? And now, you know, there's other fights that I'm missing or whatever, then just don't fucking watch it. Stop being a bitch. Fuck off.
Good point. So I think that's enough of that. We'll talk about a bit of Ronda Rousey news, because she's back.
Yeah.
She's fighting Amanda Nunes, so she gets the title fight coming back. You did say on the last show that if Ronda Rousey, it was the last show, we've been saying for a while, if Ronda Rousey does come back, a title fight makes sense. She's Ronda Rousey. I'm kind of in the same boat, but what's your reasoning behind that? Why do you think that Ronda Rousey should be getting this title shot over the likes of Juliana Pena? I suppose she's the only one that could really beat her at the moment.
If Juliana Pena, it's not
Shevchenko, maybe.
Yeah, even Shevchenko.
She only
beat Holly Holm, but Holly Holm was coming off a loss in that fight. So, you know, and Holly Holm didn't really look great in that fight either. Like she tried to Holly Holm, you know, and just didn't really
didn't pan out.
Yeah, just didn't pan out. But Shevchenko, like, she probably needed another fight. Either Pena, or if Pena was going to take it, but she was holding out for a title fight, Pena or someone else. But as for Ronda coming back, why does she deserve it? Simply put, Ronda Rousey is the only woman at 135 pounds to defend her belt successfully.
Yeah,
the only one in the UFC. The UFC 135 women's division. She is the only woman in history for the UFC to successfully defend her title. That's how you market the fight. That, and she's fucking Ronda Rousey.
Yeah.
You know, before Conor was there, she was the biggest draw. And whether you love her or hate her, me, when it comes to Ronda, I'm very much in the middle. I love watching her fights. They're always exciting. Am I a fan? Slightly. Could I care if she goes away? I really don't care. But I'll always watch her fights because I'm a fan of her fights. Her as a person, I really don't care. People say she can be a cunt or whatever, but so what? She sells fights. If Ronda wants to go in, main mug someone, basically call another woman a bitch, and then she goes in and beats
the do nothing bitch.
Yeah, do nothing bitch. And even if she goes in and loses, like what happened with Holly Holm, that's fine. She, even when she lost, it was spectacular, and when she wins, it's even more spectacular. Every fight Ronda Rousey has been in has been amazing. So why wouldn't you have her come back? She's the most prolific women's champion in UFC history, and now we have Chris Cyborg there. So we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, you market the fight as here she is up against Amanda Nunes, who basically knocked out Miesha Tate in the 4th round in devastating fashion. And she's coming in to fight Ronda Rousey, the only woman ever to successfully defend the UFC 135-pound belt. Yeah. That's how you market that fight. Yeah. She does deserve it.
From a marketing and for the casual fans, I don't think it's a problem.
Yeah.
What about from a sporting perspective? Exactly, is she the one that deserves it? Coming off a loss, being off for so long, from a sporting perspective.
From sport, no. If you're in the Olympics going for a gold medal and you lose, you don't get your gold medal.
Yeah,
simple as. But the UFC doesn't work like that.
Yeah, it's a different animal.
It's very much so. At this point now, it's a
sports entertainment.
Exactly.
Not in a wrestling.
They're trying to make the best fights possible.
Make the biggest money.
And
it's a business.
The most amount of money. In this case, this fight makes the most amount of money. Yeah. The UFC is always going to go with the money.
Yeah,
always.
That's why they're doing McGregor against for the title against Eddie Alvarez.
Exactly. They're always going to go with the money. They're like a hungry Jew. That's where you'll find them.
You offended a lot of people there.
We don't have many Jews in Ireland. Actually, Carl, we have the biggest Jewish population in Ireland. No, we don't. It's a lie. But yeah, doesn't matter.
Oh God, that was funny.
It's grand.
Yeah, it's grand. Yeah, from me, I'm not opposed to it too much because the UFC have done a lot worse.
Yeah,
they've done a lot worse. They've gave Chael Sonnen a title fight when he came off a loss at a higher weight class. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So the Ronda Rousey like a Brazilian. Ronda Rousey getting a title fight. It's not surprising, and I'm not hugely opposed to it. But I do think, if you're gonna line up, 5 women, she's not number 1 to get the title fight in terms of sporting. And like Juliana Pena probably should get it, but when you're weighing up other things like, the star, the marketability, everything else, the history, all that kind of stuff, Ronda Rousey would top the scale. The only thing I would say, MMA Beat was on. I was watching that the other day. They had a couple of different questions. Ariel thinks, or his question was, would it make more sense to give Pena the title shot and then have Ronda Rousey come back and maybe fight like a Miesha Tate in a third fight, or maybe a Holly Holm, where you'd still have Ronda Rousey coming back? Because the casual fan, are they really looking at that fight saying, oh, if Ronda Rousey's not in a title fight, I'm not going to watch it? They're going to watch because Ronda Rousey is there, but then you keep Juliana Pena happy. Would that make more sense? Or
it depends on how much stock you put in Juliana Pena if you're the UFC.
Yeah.
Juliana Pena definitely feels very undervalued at this moment in time.
Yeah.
And as much as I feel bad for her, the UFC is going to do what they do, and that's make money.
Yeah.
I just don't really understand. What was your question? Sorry.
So, people are saying the reason why Ronda Rousey's getting the title shot is because that's the biggest fight to make, her coming back for a title fight. But her coming back to face Holly Holm or Miesha Tate in a rematch, especially probably a Holly Holm, because that's the one that people are saying, I'd love to see that rematch, see what can happen.
Yeah.
Would that fight just do as well as keeping Juliana Pena happy by giving her the title fight? Amanda Nunes isn't a big name.
No.
Nobody really knows her apart from the people who, are, I suppose, hardcore fans, or they keep an eye on the sport. But it's Ronda Rousey is the attraction here. It's not really the title. It's not really Amanda Nunes. So would it make just as much sense to bring Ronda Rousey back, give her Holly Holm, or give her anybody really? I think, it's her name that's bringing the
really,
eyes.
It really depends, because if you're assuming then for Ronda to come back, and then you're assuming that Amanda, if we're gonna have Ronda fight Amanda, which is the way that it is now, you're assuming that Amanda and her next opponent is gonna get past them and successfully defend her belt. And if she doesn't, then you have a new champion. If it was Juliana Pena, so really you're in the exact same position you were before.
Yeah.
You have a champion that has just won their belt that the casual fans don't know. So that's a lot of eggs in one basket there on that side. If Ronda come back and she got the Holly Holm fight, definitely makes a lot of sense. Very exciting fight. That's a fight that I'd like to watch, because I'd love to see how Ronda adapts her game, if she adapts her game, and basically how Holly comes out in that fight. That's the fight that I would have, me as a fan of mixed martial arts, would have liked to see, because I always love seeing somebody coming back from a loss,
redemption,
and going against a person that they lost against.
Yeah.
I love seeing that. That's why Conor versus Nate too. As much as I said it wasn't a fight that I really wanted to see. I'm kind of going back on myself here. As much as a fight that I said I didn't really want to see, I was saying that because that holds up a division.
Yeah.
This fight doesn't. If that fight with Holly Holm and Ronda Rousey happened, that's not holding up a division. So it does make a lot more sense there. I'd like to see that fight. So let's just say if Ronda did come back, fight Holm, and you have Amanda fight Juliana Pena.
Yeah.
If Amanda beats Juliana Pena, you'd imagine that would be the main event. I'd build up a whole card basically with main event Amanda Nunes versus Pena, co-main event Ronda Rousey versus Holly Holm. So you have the title fight and the number one contender
essentially. Yeah.
So, or not even number one contender. If Ronda beats Holly, she's the number one contender. Maybe if Holly beats Ronda, she's probably not. You wouldn't know.
It's definitely an elimination fight.
Yeah,
anyway.
Exactly. So if Amanda wins that fight, and Ronda wins her fight, all the casual fans are gonna be there to see Ronda Rousey, but yet you have Amanda Nunes in the main event.
Yeah.
So they're gonna see Amanda Nunes defend her title, and people are gonna go, actually, she's the girl now that's the champion. So Ronda has to fight her. And if Amanda wins in devastating fashion, as she did in her last fight, then you have a really big title fight, because you have a new girl that's actually recognized in the division, especially by the casuals. That's one thing that Ronda would bring. So I think if you're gonna do it, that's why you have to do it. But for all those stars to align, that's a lot, because Juliana Pena is a tough,
very, very tough. Yeah,
and she's very, very good. So maybe they just said, "Fuck it, we'll do it this way," because either way, even if we do the fight and Ronda loses, it doesn't really matter, because then they have Amanda Nunes, who's fucking huge after beating Ronda Rousey, the casual to see her. And if you've done it the other way, where Pena wins the title, then you're in the same position. You don't have a build champion for Ronda to fight. Maybe it wouldn't be as much of a draw. So they probably just said, let's just fucking do it now, because it's too much of a risk. Let's make the money we know is definitely there. Yeah.
Another point made, I think it was by Luke Thomas, is that maybe Ronda's the reason why Ronda's coming back is because she wants a title fight. Maybe that's the only reason that she could come back, and that completely, every argument that you have, that just blows it out, and you're thinking, the OC wanted to come back, they're going to give her the title fight.
And also maybe in Ronda's contract, it states if she lost her title that she's getting a rematch straight away.
Maybe
because she's that big. Maybe that is something that she had in her contract.
Yeah, it's possible. Before we move on, just to make note of it, just to see if you think this is fair. Not that the bookies are fair, but Ronda Rousey opens at 3-1 favorite. So a 3-1 favorite.
It's not fair. Definitely not fair. If you understand anything about mixed martial arts, you know that Amanda Nunes on the feet's a fucking killer. She can knock any girl out. And on the ground, she's just as fucking dangerous.
Yeah.
And we know that Ronda wants to get her to the ground, and Amanda Nunes is a legit jiu-jitsu black belt.
Yeah.
I don't think that Ronda should be the favorite, but I also don't think that Amanda Nunes should be the favorite. I definitely think it should be evens.
Evens,
100% evens.
I definitely have Ronda as the favorite. 3-1 favorite is big, and what I mean by fair is that bookies, they're gonna put odds to try to get people to bet. So it's not always reflecting on who they think will win or who they think is gonna be like a huge favorite in actual fight terms, but just how to get people to bet as well. So yeah, 3-1 is huge, but you know,
That's
I think
I
she
don't
should be a bigger.
understand betting terminology. That's
But you know, that's a big
that's
underdog.
that's
Yeah, big favorite.
she's like 3-1.
Yeah,
That's like more than
2-man
one.
horse.
That's more than one.
So
What's that for every
every
€1 you get 3?
for every £3 you put on, you get one. Like
Okay.
if 1 to 3 is
Right. Okay.
yeah. So it's a pretty big favorite.
Yeah. Fuck.
Yeah.
Right.
So we'll move on to Bellator and BAMMA having a huge collaboration when they return. Well, BAMMA returns to Ireland and then Bellator make their debut. They're joining forces to have a super show in the Tree Arena, which is going to feature some of the best in BAMMA's talent pool and Bellator. So the first thing is, for Irish fans, it's great news. I think that's the first thing that you have to say.
Yeah, for sure. The fact that Bellator are actually coming to Ireland, it's kind of strange that they've done this with BAMMA.
Yeah.
I assume for BAMMA, they're after making it into, I suppose, mainstream mixed martial arts media, because MMA fighting and stuff have been covering it. MMA junkies, everywhere else pretty much has been covering the fact that BAMMA are, you know, doing this collaboration with Bellator. So that's what they get out of it. What do Bellator get out of it?
Yeah,
I'm not too sure.
Well, I think Bellator haven't really done that many shows outside of America. They've done a couple. They done that one in, was it Italy?
Mhm.
And then they done the one in the UK, if I'm correct.
Yeah, UK.
Yeah, UK.
Don't doubt yourself.
Yeah, don't doubt.
Definitely
Say
UK.
conviction.
It was in Sweden. It was the UK.
So they done that maybe just for Bellator. You know, BAMMA have a handle on the Irish market. They know how it runs. They've done 3 successful shows now in Ireland. Very successful shows. So maybe, you know, Bellator, and I think Bellator and BAMMA already had some kind of relationship going on, because Paul Daly was fighting in BAMMA, he was fighting in Bellator. Maybe that's just an open contract. But
James Gallagher as well.
Yeah, James Gallagher, they had that kind of they were gonna let him fight before the whole thing happened. But yeah, so maybe it's just they've looked at it and they said, okay, they have a handle on the Irish market, they know what they're doing. They want to come back to Ireland at this point. Because we did hear that they want to come back to Ireland. BAMMA, they've said that. And they said it by the end of the year. That's what we were kind of hearing. So maybe they just everything aligned and they went with that. Now there's other people saying that they think BAMMA maybe are in a bit of trouble and they're looking to collaborate. We can talk a little bit about that. It's all speculation.
Trey Arena fucked up. They double booked.
Yeah, they double booked. Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, you'll just have to share the function room.
Good thing they both use a cage.
Yeah.
So yeah, like there was a couple of people speculating on if BAMMA might be in a bit of trouble.
I hope not.
I hope not.
Yeah, I hope not.
You know, it is possible. It's difficult to have a successful promotion in MMA.
Yeah.
Very, very difficult. You've seen the amount of promotions that have gone out of business. So that is possible. But it seems like it just aligned where it's makes sense for both shows to collaborate. But what I want to think about is, how are they going to work? Are they going to have kind of cross promotional matches? Are they going to have, you know, like a BAMMA section of the show and then a Bellator section of the show? Because I know Paul Redmond is on the card and he is fighting. I have wrote it down. Who is he fighting again? Daniel Weichel.
Yeah.
Who's a very, very tough opponent. He previously beat Pitbull in Bellator. Former tournament finalist, I believe. And it's headlined by King Mo and Ishii. So
that's a good fucking King Mo fighting in Ireland.
Fighting in Ireland, yeah. So I wonder what way they're going to structure. Are they going to have like a BAMMA section and then a Bellator section? Or just going to say, all right, here's our talent pool. Just throw them in there, see who's going to fight.
Go back to 2 shows ago.
Yeah.
We're talking about BAMMA and we were saying how much we'd love to see BAMMA go up against Cage Warriors. Cross promotion, you know, best fighter versus best fighter.
Like a tournament type
thing. That would have been. And this seems like something that they could do. Like, even if it's just some of the younger lads on the card doing it. You know, some of Bellator's youngest talent versus BAMMA's youngest talent. That'd be fucking cool.
It'd be very interesting. Like, they already have the Redmond and Weichel fight. So obviously King Mo and Ishii are both Bellator fighters, but you know, just take that out.
Well, that's your draw.
That's your main event. Yeah.
King Mo is a big name, and Ishii's well known.
That's possible. They could definitely do that.
I'd fucking watch the shit out of that.
Yeah,
I would.
You'd watch the shit out of it anyway, but you double watch.
Yeah, I'd double watch it. Yeah, double watch. But can't wait. I don't see any downsides for BAMMA. As for Bellator, I don't know. Do you think Bellator could have sold out a show in Dublin on their own? I think they could have.
Probably, yeah. Probably.
So that's the way I'm coming at. Maybe they're splitting the fucking rent fee for the tree arena.
That's what I mean. Maybe it just made sense for them to do it. Maybe for whatever reason.
To see what the fuck went on behind the scenes, wouldn't you? Like, you know, how did this come together? It's so strange, like, because this came out of nowhere. Yeah. You know, come out of nowhere. That was just announced. Like, usually you'd hear rumblings or something like that. This was just kept quiet.
Well, there was rumblings that Bellator were coming to Ireland.
But not
this way. And then there was rumblings that BAMMA were coming back.
I believe BAMMA were looking to do a December
show.
Yeah,
so this is what? December, is it?
Yeah, I think so. I think
it's December.
Don't pay attention.
Wait for them to come.
You'd be like, BAMMA's next week. Yeah,
shit.
We'll do that.
Yeah. So, just very interesting. Just exciting news, because you know you're going to get, you know, BAMMA know.
They know the markets.
They know the market. They know the very, very talented fighters that are in Ireland. They have a handle on that. You know, Paul Redmond's already booked. You can see the likes of Ryan Curtis being booked. You can see the likes of maybe John McColgan. I don't know if he's booked up with Cage Warriors, because I know Cage Warriors are talking about it as well. That's kind of where the whole, you know, BAMMA being in trouble thing came from. Cage Warriors is obviously a bit of a rivalry there. Yeah. But that, again, that's all speculation. We don't really know about that.
Isn't Corta fighting that lad out of the UK?
Maybe.
He
is. Yeah.
I can't remember his name.
No, he is. Was
that announced for this card?
It was announced, yeah.
Is it on that card? I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's on this card. It is, because it was definitely announced. Yeah. But it's not on the official lineup when I was checking it. So he is booked for a fight, and I can't remember the guy's name, but he's a very, very good fighter coming out of the UK.
He's supposed to be one of the UK's biggest prospects.
No, he is. Yeah, and I can't think of his name, but just exciting news, I think, as well. And then obviously the UFC are up in Belfast in November. Yeah, I'm sure they're back down the south soon. So there's some good shows coming up for MMA fans in Ireland.
Yeah, the UFC needs to come back to Dublin.
Yeah.
I'll stay away from any political jokes.
Yeah.
I could sense the tension in the room. You were like, fucking keep your patriotism to yourself, you bollocks.
And you can, speaking of this card, James Gallagher, you can see him. He's front and center on all the promotional things.
That's what you do.
Putting a lot of stock in.
It's good promotion.
So yeah, we can't wait for that one. Some other stuff that we need to talk about is going to be a bit all over the place, but there's a few fights announced. Just the dog just sitting up there.
Fucking doing my head in. Just start snorting now an hour. A few lines.
A few fights announced. We have Daniel Cormier and Rumble Johnson is booked for UFC 206. So that's the fight, the rematch for the title in this case. What do you think of that fight? Do you think that's the right fight to make at that division, considering
it's the only fight
considering John Jones?
It's the only fight to make. Like, John Jones cleared out the division, suspended. Daniel Cormier cleared out the division. Anthony Rumble Johnson cleared out the division. They've already fought, but there's nobody else there. So who the fuck do you put? Ryan Bader?
Yeah.
No.
Nah.
It's the only fight that makes sense. Daniel Cormier said on the MMA Hour that he's looking at Anthony Rumble Johnson, and of course, you know, while he respects him, not much has changed about his game. Which, you know, to be fair, Rumble Johnson just goes in and bleeding clonks. You know what you're gonna get with him. So if Rumble Johnson can get better,
I think if Daniel Cormier fought Rumble Johnson 10 times, he'd probably win maybe 8 times.
Yeah.
But Rumble Johnson only needs that little bit of space to land a big shot, and he's done it. He's done it before. You have to give, and that's why you have to give Cormier a lot of credit, because he took
the punch,
a lot of punches from Rumble Johnson and a lot of punishment in that first fight.
He was really like Sasha Grey that day. He took a good system.
Jesus.
It's a porn joke for you.
Porn joke for you there.
She swallows many dicks. That's all I'm saying. But yeah, you know, speaking of porn, this is a fight that gets me dick hard. I'm looking forward to it. I just want to see how how fucking Rumble Johnson, if he can solve the puzzle that's Cormier. Because to Cormier, you know, other than getting caught that one time he got dropped, he did fight a very good fight.
Very good fight.
He broke Anthony Rumble Johnson. And that's another thing Cormier said on the MMA Hour, that he heard Rumble Johnson's corner, like in that believe it was the 3rd round, he said, Rumble Johnson's corner telling Anthony, don't give up, screaming at him not to give up.
Yeah.
And Cormier was saying in what that triggered in his own mind was, this is a guy that quits in training.
Yeah.
If his corner is saying that, why the fuck would you say that in a fight? So that gave Cormier the gusto to basically just pound him into dust pretty much. So now Cormier already has that in his head going into this fight. And that's just going to give him confidence. The fact that he's already
I think,
beaten.
if you're getting the idea you can break a man and you have already broken him in your eyes, it's definitely something that I think helps with the confidence.
Yeah.
Other news or another matchup that was announced was Paige Van Zandt versus Michelle Waterson. And I think that headlines UFC on Fox 24, something like that.
Yeah, I didn't have enough space on the page to write down.
Doesn't matter. It's announced anyway. But yeah, that's it. I think that's a very big fight in that division. Michelle Waterson, two very marketable fighters. Marketable
in that they're hot as fuck.
Yeah,
that's what he means.
That's basically what I mean.
They have the looks.
Yeah,
but they also have the skill.
They do.
It's one of those things you hear people say about comedians a lot. She's my favorite female comedian.
Yeah.
And it's a bit like, what the fuck, is she not just a comedian?
Yeah, exactly.
In this case, these two fighters just happen to be girls, but they're two of the best prospects in the UFC. Michelle Waterson coming out from Invicta. This is her first fight in the UFC. Second fight.
She was supposed to fight again.
Ashlyn Daly, and she got injured. Poor fucking Ash, unfortunately. That would have been a nice payday. Big fight, Nice payday for Ash, unfortunately. So this is our second fight, and it's against Paige Van Zandt. Paige Van Zandt in her last fight looked amazing. So, and we've seen Michelle Waterson. She's not afraid to throw down, the
karate height.
Yeah, and this is the thing with these two fighters, like, they're so unassuming, and when you see them fight, you go, holy fuck.
And they're both aggressive as well.
Very aggressive.
So that could be a really, really good
I'm
fight.
Looking forward to it.
And I like the way they're putting it on the Fox show. Paige Van Zandt, she already has a built-in name on television because of Dancing with the Stars, and she's been on.
They're right. They're doing it exactly right. They're catering to the masses with that fight, and they're doing it perfectly. As you said, she's that Dancing with the Stars, man. I don't know if you've ever watched it, but that's a huge show.
Yeah, it's huge.
That's gigantic. Like, and the fact that she was on that, and now she's coming back to MMA, like, her what would you call it? Star presence is basically there. Like a lot, like the fucking Elwin and Elfless that sit in with a bottle of wine on a Saturday night are, they're gonna see that ad on TV and go, oh, that's that girl that was on Dancing in the Stars.
Exactly.
Who's she fighting? Like, sure, if it's on, I might watch it. Yeah, that's it. And it's on what, Access TV, free TV? I don't know.
I think it's on a network television, but I think everyone gets it. I'm not sure.
It's like us with fucking Sky or whatever. Most people would have it.
Yeah.
But great fight. Can't wait to see it.
Yeah. Another fight announcement was Duho Choi versus Cub Swanson for UFC 206. I love this fight.
Holy fuck.
I love this fight. When I seen that this was announced, I got a little bit giddy because I'm a huge fan of Duho Choi, and Cub Swanson is, he's one of the best in that division. He hasn't looked great in his last couple of fights. Looked good in his last one, but he's still someone who goes out there and really puts on a show.
Right,
He's a very, very talented fighter, and Duho Choi is one of the best prospects in that division. He's scary. He's, again, another person who's really unassuming, but he's scary.
I'm just looking forward to the fight. There's not much more I can say about it. Anytime I see Cub Swanson fight, a little bit me goes, oh fuck, someone's getting the fuck out.
Could be him.
Could be his opponent. But if you've seen Cub Swanson probably 2.5 years ago,
he was on a tear.
He was on a fucking tear. He came back from his injury and just fucking laid waste to the division. I would have loved to see Cub Swanson versus Conor.
Yeah,
that's the fight I would have loved to see at that weight class, at featherweight. That's the one I wanted.
Probably gone now.
I would have loved to see that fight before, in place of the Dennis Seaver fight.
Yeah,
in place of that. It would have been a little bit early for Conor, but I don't think it's just bullshit that every time we talk about a fight, we always bring it back to Conor.
But didn't Conor get a title fight after fucking Dennis Seaver? So it wasn't really that early.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, he did. He did. Yeah, you're right. So imagine if that had been Cub Swanson, all the people talking shit about the Dennis Seaver fight then would have been like, oh well, fair enough. Beat Cub Swanson.
Cub Swanson,
well, that's assuming he would have beaten. But just if you look at Cub Swanson. His power is ridiculous. I would have that's the fight I would have liked to see. But Cub Swanson now, that dog's annoying.
She-
Yeah, I mean,
she
just
sneezed.
sneezing. Just sneezing.
Stop
Fuck
sneezing
off.
near your box.
Yeah, so I wouldn't mind. I really like fucking shut up. I really like animals, but you know, when we're recording a podcast,
Imagine if she
she
got
can tell we're giving out.
yeah.
where-
Imagine if she got sick right now. That'd be like fail army straight
yeah,
away.
I'd be like, fuck this, I'm done. I'm done. She can't afford me anymore.
Yeah.
I'm a star now.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do how Choi, Cub Swanson. Great fight.
Very distracting.
Yeah, it is.
Great fight. I love that fight too. As I said, I think Duho Choi at that division. I think he's definitely one to watch. If you're not watching him, watch him now.
Yeah.
Some other news: Charlie Ward signed to the UFC. SPG fighter. Good to see. Good to see another name from Ireland getting into the UFC fights. Randy Brown from looking for a fight fame. Not too much to say about the fight itself, but it's just nice to see another Irish fighter get to the
Irish
UFC.
lad going in, yeah. Like when you think of it, who was Pete Carroll actually on the MMA? Or he said it like he was like at one point we had 8 Irish fighters in the UFC. You know, with Paddy after retiring, Cahill after retiring, Norman Park got cut.
Who else?
I can't remember who went.
Series just about gone.
Series
He'll be gone now.
Potentially gonna retire. He didn't include Gunnar Nelson in that.
Yeah.
But he said like after all those lads gone with Siri gone, he was like that leaves Ashland Daly, Connor, and Artem.
Yeah.
It's only 3, you know, Irish fighters there. Artem's Russian, but he's Daniel Day-Lewis.
Yeah.
He's English,
Can't-
but
yeah.
sure, fuck it, we'll take him.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know, that's the type of thing.
That type of thing. Yeah.
So it's nice to see another Irish lad get in there. And Charlie Ward's a very good fighter.
He's a
So
beast.
hopefully he'll have a good showing and he'll basically throw his name down.
Big
I'd like
fight
to
for him
see
as
it.
well because I suppose Randy Brown, he's not really well known, but he's
No.
coming off that looking for a fight, and you know he has a bit of a name. It's not like Charlie Ward's going into fight some nobody.
Well-
People are watching Randy
Well,
Brown.
Like Randy Brown come up on the circuit in America, just like Charlie Ward come up
Yeah.
on the circuit here in Ireland and the UK or wherever.
Yeah.
Like, so they're two very good. Licking our gay, doing my head in. Just all I can hear.
If people listen to the audio
yeah,
version, that is a weird abrupt
know,
like
yeah.
licking our
It's the dog's licking our gay. It's doing my head in.
for American viewers. That means vagina.
That means vagina. But
Stop,
so
will you?
very distracting.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they've both come up on good circuits, good pedigree fighters. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I'm looking in the og now.
I
Just sit
know.
there like
It's like so fucking distracting. What's she doing? So
licking our
distracting.
feet.
Yeah, it's licking our feet now. There's other stuff that I wanted to talk about because we didn't write everything down, but I do have it here. Did you see? Again, this show is going to be a weird show. We're going to talk about
We're already
What-
talking
exactly.
about taking dicks, fisting, and licking gays.
exactly. Yeah. So it doesn't matter. Did you see the missing judge thing?
No.
Yeah, the last UFC event in England, the very first fight, Esther Lane from MMA Fighting, she tweeted out, "There's no judge here." Apparently, for the first fight, for the first round, there was only 2 judges sitting at the table, and then for the second and third round, that judge came back and sat down. And I think, as far as I know, it was a split decision, and that judge is the judge that gave the other fighter, the fighter that lost the 2 rounds or something like that. I don't know. It was a bit strange. But just in general, there was only 2 judges sitting at the judging table for the first round of that fight. How fucking strange is that?
Do you know what's fucked up about that as well?
What?
That brings into question the main event.
In a way, yeah.
It's a little dark mark on the
yeah,
card.
it is a little- yeah. But I think
Um,
Michael Bisping won anyway. But you just want to make it a conspiracy. You said you thought Michael Bisping won. You just want to make it a conspiracy now.
Dan Henderson clearly won that fight. If you scored it any other way, you're simply
don't you just
wrong,
go-
and you
just
should be
go
born
full-
at the
yeah.
stake.
Yeah, just go full Eddie Bravo. Start talking about chemtrails and shit.
Yeah,
This is why
Yeah.
chemtrails exist.
it
Because
is.
missing judges.
It is. But yeah, no, that's why was that fight even allowed to take place
I
if
don't-
that's the case?
I don't
Why
know.
was that fight started? I know
Yeah.
they have time constraints,
Yeah.
but in the rules you have to have fucking 3 judges.
Yeah.
You can't have 2.
Yeah.
You have to have 3. That fight should not have taken place. Yeah, that's bullshit. It is. That's absolute bullshit. I didn't know that, and I'm pissed off about that now.
Yeah.
That's very annoying.
Yeah, so here it is here. So I'm just going to read it out just to
Go ahead,
for
yeah.
context. So
Drink
as a
wine.
lightweight matchup between Leonardo Santos and Adriano Martins kicked off at midnight local time in England's Manchester Arena, judges Majic.
Strange
Okay,
name.
I'm not going to be able to pronounce that. Paul Sutherland were in position, but veteran official Jeff Mullen was not only making it to the signpost moments after the second frame. So then it turns out that Santos is declared the winner by split decision, with Mullen and Sutherland both awarding Santos the first round, while Majeski, I can't even say that, gave him this 2 and 3. So it wasn't him, but still, it's very, very strange that he wasn't there for the first round. Obviously, again,
He wasn't there for the first round, and he gave the first round to a fighter.
Yeah, I'm guessing he watched it on the screens. He has to still judge it. So I'm assuming that he, for whatever reason, he didn't make it out. Again, this shouldn't happen.
No.
Like, this is silly. Obviously, the UFC would regulate themselves while they're overseas. So
Yeah.
that's down to them. That's their problem.
Yeah.
But I'm guessing for whatever reason he wasn't there. Probably watched on a big screen. But then, that's...
We don't know that, though.
No, we don't know that. But
We
that's
don't know
the
That's the
assumption.
problem.
Yeah.
If you ask me, that fight should be overturned to a no contest.
Yeah, I think...
The judge wasn't present.
Yeah.
For the first round.
They can't bash for a no
it
contest.
should be a no contest. That's absolutely disgraceful. Yeah, that's just shocking.
It's strange. It's just very, very strange.
It's not strange. It's shocking. Like, that's diabolical. I can't believe that.
Yeah.
You're the world's premier organization of mixed martial arts, and one of your fucking judges who you appointed because overseas you regulate yourself isn't at ringside. That just looks bad. Sorry, looks bad.
I agree.
Hashtag Hendo gay.
Another bit of news was gonna hear just I think we all assumed it, but Dana White said that CM Punk probably won't fight in the UFC again.
You have a 3-fight contract. He's going to be released.
Yeah, probably be released. Probably just covering the contract. They can just do it anytime.
Yeah.
Yeah, like I didn't have a problem with CM Punk wanting to fight at all. If he wants to go and fight in a different organization, I'd be happy for him to do it. I'd say go ahead if that's what you want to do.
Yeah. His only problem is he can't fight our amateur level because
he fought a pro as well. Yeah.
So depending on if he wants to take a wage cut.
Yeah.
If he wants to fight professional, but basically fight somebody that's coming from an amateur
go to
level
Japan.
background for that. Yeah, he could go to Japan.
Yeah.
They could like fucking bang the life out of him.
Yeah.
They'd inject him with all sorts of fucking steroids. To be fair, he never took that in WWE, so he wouldn't do it over there.
Exactly. He's straight edge.
Yeah, he's straight edge. But then again, those Japanese have ways of cutting down morals,
Yeah.
To be fair, World War II, they convinced their own people to fly planes into the ground. So they're kind of crazy. But then again, you never know.
Not generalizing them at all.
Yeah, the Japs are crazy. That's what I'm saying.
Looks like
Two glasses of
many
wine.
glasses of wine. Two.
Two.
What was the topic again? You went off on a tangent. Can't you remember CM Punk? Yeah, if you like, it's not surprising. It was a bad showing. I don't think the UFC want to do that again. I know there's another guy like an NFL player or a hockey player or something.
Yeah.
So they wants to find then always
American
football. Yeah. Said that you should get a bit of experience first, probably learning from what happened. But yeah, whatever.
Yeah,
whatever.
Fuck him. Not really. What's his name?
He's a very nice guy.
CM Punk seems sound. Like,
he seems like a very, very nice guy.
He seems just like a normal bloke. Seems very down to earth. I'd like to see him go off to another promotion and basically, get a fight and hopefully win. Yeah. I'd love to see CM Punk win. I'd like to see him realise his dream of winning at least one competitive mixed martial arts fight.
Yeah.
Be nice to see, if Noah was here now, he'd tell me fairy tales aren't real.
Yeah. Although he was on the CM Punk.
Fucking CM Punk.
He was on the CM Punk bandwagon big time.
Fuck him.
Yeah.
That's because they're like the same age. Two of them are like fucking 40. Halfway to the ground.
What was the joke that you had? We were about to start the show.
Yeah, this is episode 39. Next episode's episode 40. We're almost as old as Noah.
He's gonna love that.
He'd appreciate that.
Yeah. Two more things that we'll talk about before we leave. John Jones returned to competition today. He grappled in Naga. Did you see it?
Nice. I didn't.
Yeah,
I didn't.
all I seen a small video. He's grappling somebody beaten by guillotine choke.
Nice. He's keeping
But
himself fresh.
he is
I
looking
suppose.
huge.
Yeah.
Yeah, like heavyweight huge.
Oh, really?
Yeah, absolutely enormous.
Imagine you had a test of him again and he popped. Imagine, because he'd be still in the testing.
Oh yeah, big time. Yeah, yeah. I started testing him like mad.
Yeah, fucking right.
You know, but yeah, John Jones, he's grappling.
So at least he's keeping himself fresh. That's I'd like to see that. Obviously you can't compete in any sort of mixed martial arts event, but yeah, you know, going to the grappling route, not necessarily bad. He's keeping his skills honed and fresh.
Yeah.
Good to see. But steroids. That's all I have to say about that.
GSP is ruled out for 206 officially. There was rumors that he was coming back for 206.
Yeah.
I just seen him as rumors. Then you told me that he's out, and I was like, "Oh, was he in?"
Yeah.
I don't think he was in. I think it was just rumors, wasn't it?
Yeah,
but then I always
rumors.
said that he's definitely not fighting at 206.
Yeah. Shit. Who was on it? Who was
Nick Diaz rematch. That's what I said.
No. It was someone again. I'm going back to the MMA, or I can't remember. You'll have to forgive me, but somebody on the show said that. Was it Cormier? Was it fucking Cormier? I can't even remember. It was somebody on the MMA that said they basically were talking to GSP, and GSP told them his demands.
Yeah.
Like, you know, just in conversation. Like, and whoever it was, you'll have to forgive me, I'll have to double check it, said that he couldn't believe that was a problem with the UFC. That it really wasn't, that the demands weren't that bad. That they were actually very reasonable.
Yeah.
Yeah, take that with a pinch of salt. As I said, I don't know I can't remember the person's name. But if they're saying that and that's true, makes you wonder.
Yeah.
What's going on?
That the whole GSP thing is kind of weird, because Dana White keeps coming out saying, "Oh, GSP doesn't want to fight."
Yeah.
And then you hear GSP saying, and not even like reports of GSP,
Yeah.
actually GSP saying, "Yeah, I'm actually kind of want to fight again."
Yeah.
And like, it seems like a no-brainer that that GSP comes back to the UFC for the UFC.
Does
kind of a weird one.
Imagine, does GSP have an actual contract with the UFC? Does he have any?
Yeah, he still has a contract. I think the problem, as far as what I've read, is that the demands are that GSP still wants to use his sponsorships.
To be fair, that's where he comes from. We know that's where a lot of fighters made their money. You know,
and not just like, you know, fucking Condom Depot. That's not his sponsor. His sponsor is Under Armour.
Yeah.
He has some big time sponsors.
Like Under Armour. If you
that's
watch
a big
boxing, that's
a big
the
one.
big sponsor.
Yeah,
like,
so
along with Adidas.
I think that's where the disagreements are. As far as what we're reading, mightn't be, but if that's the one that makes most sense anyway.
There you go. There's your first fucking hurdle. Like, you know, and the UFC fucked up.
Yeah.
So
you fucked up.
Yeah.
Yeah. Last bit of news was Shane Carwin returned to competition also. He knocked out a former pro skater with one arm tied behind his back.
Yeah.
You see that?
So Shane Carwin's best pound for pound fighter in the world.
Yeah. That, like, to be fair, your man's not a fighter. To be fair, Shane Carwin was a lot bigger than him. But holy fuck, that guy hits like a fucking truck, doesn't he?
Fucking ridiculous.
Like, the punch was like from here to
I
here.
can't believe that fight was allowed to happen.
I know, yeah.
Did the Japanese put that on?
I don't know.
The fuck is going on? Who looked at that fight and went, it's a great idea.
Yeah. I think that if anybody's watching this YouTube video, all they're doing is looking at the dog. She's been like just doing random shit. Like, it's fucked up.
We're gonna be this now. After this podcast is finished, we're also gonna upload all the bits of Roxy training ourselves onto a bestiality website, because that's how we roll. You know, we like to go into all different sectors of the internet. Yeah, that's gonna be on the dark.
We like to put our raise our demographics.
Many fingers and many paws and vaginas.
I think that's a perfect place to leave it. Unless there's any more news that you've seen that you want to just talk about.
Nope. Oh, Vitor Belfort.
Oh yeah, he was
retired for a hot minute, and now he's back.
Now he's back.
So that's the end of that.
That's the end of that. That's
good show.
Yeah, good show. Good show. So MMA Mix is who's been sharing all our stuff.
Oh yeah.
They're good.
Obviously good.
Yeah,
obviously fight.
Yeah, I can't take that one because Noel hits that one. Whiskey Fair, we're not there this week. Hopefully we'll be there next week. But yeah, that's really it.
Fucking. What's the other?
Oh, Fight Zone.
Yeah.
Brilliant. Yeah, brilliant. Fight Star Media. Check
Yeah.
Fight Star Media out. Fight Star Pro. Fight Star Ireland.
Yeah.
They go by loads of different names, but they're good because we're obviously Fight Talk.
Yeah. So as you can
Obviously
tell,
good.
we clearly rehearsed this bit.
Yeah. We just usually leave this down to Noel because
Yeah.
he has this. He's like Goldie.
Exactly.
He can say all this stuff on cue.
Yeah.
Just
He
click your fingers.
smells the open.
He does. He smells the opening.
Yeah.
Roxy was smelling the opening a minute ago. I'm gonna close this show, and good night.
Did she fart?